On the night of September 27, 2011, a 19-year-old girl left her university library after a long day of studying. Minutes later, gunshots echoed through the parking lot. She was brilliant, ambitious, and already a rising star, but her life was cut short in the most brutal way. This is the haunting case of Maple Battalia. Welcome to Life in Frames. Today we're diving into yet another chilling case. Our story begins in 1992 in Mumbai, India's financial capital and the largest city in Maharashtra. Here lived the Battalia family, Rodrick Battalia, his wife Sarabjit, and their elder daughter Racine. But on March 4, 1992, their home filled with joy once again when Rodrick and Sarabjit welcomed their second daughter, Maple Battalia. Her name stood out in India. The Battalias chose Maple because they were preparing to move to Canada, and the maple leaf on the Canadian flag symbolized a fresh beginning. Just 5 months later, in September 1992, the family settled in British Columbia. At the time, Racine was already 5 years old. According to her mother, Maple's connection with cameras began early. At just 1 year old, her photo appeared on the cover of a children's hospital magazine in British Columbia. Relatives adored her. She was bright, charming, and full of life. The Battalias, belonging to the Sikh community, stayed connected with their Gurdwara and traditions while raising their daughters with freedom to pursue their own dreams. Maple, more independent than her sister, often spoke of becoming an astronaut, a doctor, a model, or even an actress. Her dream of modeling came true when she was only 14. Walking her first runway and later appearing in Vancouver Fashion Week alongside school, she trained at the John Robert Powers Academy in modeling and acting, and even worked with an acting coach to chase her Hollywood ambitions. But amid her rising career, Maple's attention turned to a boy Gurjinder, Dhaliwal. Came from Sikh families and first met at a gathering where their mothers quickly became best friends. Maple, mature beyond her years, earned her parents' trust to pursue this friendship. Soon, Maple and Gary grew close. Gary showered her with flowers, chocolates, and even gifted her a dog worth $800, which Maple lovingly named Bubbles. While Maple supported Gary with his studies and even lent him money for his business, their paths began to diverge. Maple pursued health sciences at Simon Fraser University, aiming to become a doctor, while Gary abandoned college, first attempting a business that failed, then working for his father's trucking company. Meanwhile, Maple's acting dream materialized when she landed the role of Melissa in Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Rodrick Rules. At the premiere, her friends and family cheered loudly each time she appeared on screen, leaving Maple in tears of joy. Popular at university, she balanced academics, volunteer work, cleaning local parks, and a passion for painting, creating pieces that impressed everyone who saw them. But tragedy struck on the night of September 27, 2011. Maple borrowed her sister's car and attended classes at SFU Surrey. After spending the evening with friends in the library, she left around 1 a.m. on September 28th. As she walked to the parking lot, gunshots rang out. Friends rushed to help, but the attacker had fled. RCMP officer Corporal Daniel Johnson found Maple critically wounded with multiple gunshot and stab injuries. Though still breathing, she died on the way to the hospital. She was just 19 years old. Her devastated parents immediately suspected Gary. Their suspicions weren't baseless just days before. Maple had ended the relationship after discovering his jealousy, controlling behavior, and infidelity. Gary had reacted badly, bombarding her with calls and texts, following her, and begging her to return. 3 days before the murder, Gary publicly confronted Maple at a Tim Hortons after seeing her with another man. He even punched the man before. Maple reported him to police. He was arrested and warned to stay away from her. Despite suspicion, investigators initially lacked evidence. CCTV footage near the campus revealed only a white Dodge Charger circling the area around the time of the shooting. Soon, detectives traced the car to a rental company, where records showed it had been rented by Gary's friend, Gurmit Gursamar Betty, with Gary by his side. When police examined the car, they discovered damning evidence: shell casings matching the crime scene, drops of Maple's blood and gunshot residue on the steering wheel. CCTV also showed Gurjinder wandering the campus for hours on his phone, likely acting as Gary's look. Both men were arrested. During interrogation, Gary refused to cooperate, covering his ears, ignoring questions, even tearing up Maple's autopsy photos. But when Maple's mother spoke to him gently, calling him like a son, Gary broke down, saying, "Aunt, forgive me. I feel so much regret." Investigators considered this a partial confession. Even so, justice was delayed. Maple was murdered in 2011. Gary and Gurjinder's defense teams repeatedly stalled proceedings, changing lawyers and filing motions until the trial finally began in 2016. Gary Dhaliwal was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison with parole eligibility after 21 years. Gurjinder Betty, as an accomplice, received just 18 months a sentence. Maple's parents called deeply unfair. At Maple's funeral, her grief-stricken mother buried her in the blue dress Maple once promised she would wear at her wedding. Speaking through tears, she said her daughter had been butchered like an animal by someone who claimed to love her. Today, Gurjinder has long since served his sentence, while Gary remains behind bars. Maple's family, however, continues to live with the emptiness left behind by her brutal murder. And so ends the tragic case of Maple Battalia, ambitious, talented young woman whose life was cut short by the very person who once claimed. What do you think, was justice truly served in this case? Or was the punishment too light for the pain Maple's family endured? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like the video, share it with others, and subscribe to Life in Frame for more stories that uncover the truth behind life's darkest chapters.